Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. It's time for Under 30. Today we discuss BigBear.ai. Now, I have seen this company, but I don't know that we've ever discussed it. Joining us now, George Tillis, Senior Markets Correspondent for the Schwab Network. George, this screams overlooked stock to me. One of these names that you might have talked about like 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden you look up and the stock's like 10x from where it had been.
Yeah, this is certainly an overlooked stock. I don't think we've talked about this one. I don't think I've ever talked about this one at all, to be honest with you. But obviously, there's a strong trend underpinning this particular stock and company. But essentially, BigBear.ai is a AI-powered data intelligence and analytics company, and there's a whole lot of things going on now in the political climate. National security is one of their businesses, things like digital identity and logistics. They also serve multiple industries for instance, like transportation, border protection, security for events and planning, like travel, entertainment, and tourism, like mainstay events, stadiums, and so forth. But they also, serve, like I said, the logistics and manufacturing sector. So this company has been growing over the past year quite a bit. Particularly when it comes down to the Department of Defense. Going back to even January, Big Bear did receive a contract from the U.S. Navy to help provide intelligence and data analysis to that department in our armed services. And actually, as well as today, they announced another deal from the DoD that integrates Big Bear AI's technologies within the channel distribution and AI intelligence office of the DoD. So what's happening here is I think this company is gaining obviously more additional federal government contracts. And one of the focal areas of these contracts has to do with securing the border, helping deal with identity or digital identity. This includes things like facial recognition in crowds. But the other thing is, if you look at the news with the new DoD contract today, this service that they're providing is basically a vast data analytics intelligence service that helps scan through multiple channels of media. So what they're going to be looking for is trends in foreign media to kind of establish if there's any impending security risks, which I think is very novel. And you got to think about what's happening in our government right now. There's a lot of efficiencies being wrung out, the Doge committee, Elon Musk, and so forth. But at the same time, the security risks on an international basis may be growing. So therefore, there's probably going to be plenty of allocated funds for companies like Big Bear to help, of course, secure our nations and provide, resources and intelligence where needed.
So, George, I mean, this might be a reach here, but we do know this Stargate project is one that's expected to lead to billions, hundreds of billions of dollars really into AI. And of course, This isn't one of those directly named companies. But I mean, could this be a beneficiary of that? Because if the government's pouring more and more money into AI, I think they're in the right spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, Jenny. I think when you look at the Stargate, I think what's happening there is that becomes more of a public-private partnership. In some capacity, maybe some subsidies to, of course, involve the next level of artificial intelligence expansion. That includes hardware, software, and all of the factors involved. I think when I look at Big Bear, I'm not going to say this is the next Palantir. I won't do that. But I think of Palantir. And the reason being is that both of these companies are decision analytics-based companies. The difference being is Palantir is becoming more of a central processing software company. Which again is quite extensive. I think this Big Bear, with what I can see right now, is growing its platform as a service that to harvest multiple data points for specific uses, and that includes, of course, things like supply chain management and national security.
George, when you're looking at this name, obviously volatility is to be expected. This seems like one, though, that perhaps if you decided to get in, you're maybe in for the long term. But, heck, it's up 40% today. That's a big move.
It is. So one of the things you should look at is, if you notice in the last 3 years, if you look at a 3-year chart, it seems to be, now, again, it seems to be breaking out of a trading range. And the reason being, I suggest it's happening, is the revenue base. The revenue base over the past 2 years has been flat at $155 million. these new contracts are increasing the revenue base. And with that said, that is then therefore going to continue to expand the movement towards break even on an adjusted earnings basis. Because if you look at the EPS estimates for this year, they're expected to lose in 2024 for the fiscal year 73 cents, next year 19 cents. So they're improving, getting closer to break even with more revenue. So for what it's worth, the volume profile seems to be expanding, price keeps moving, and that seems to be the start of potentially a longer term trend.
Yeah, and more of these contracts. I think we could see this upside continue here, as this is only pointing to more strength in their balance sheet. But we'll leave it there. Appreciate it. George Tillis, senior markets correspondent for the network.